Yeah, this is that woman there.
Uh-oh.
What?
Well, we're not getting the green dot. We're probably having one of these issues where there's a billion.
Okay.
That's a hassle. Let's see if YouTube shows it live. Okay, there's a green light now. I think we're live, Charles.
Very good, Jason. Well, we're right here in the first playground I played in when I was a little kid, to your right.
When did the Pride Parade begin? 90s, I think.
I'm not really sure. But this is actually, we had a little, I'll reveal we had a little bit of logistical turmoil trying to get into this. We're on now the east side of where the massive humanity is, and there are a hell of a lot of people in the crowd in Washington Square Park now. I think this is the biggest crowd I've seen here in quite a while.
I agree with that.
And it's only really just getting started. I mean, the party really goes wild in this park, I understand, after dark.
Yeah.
And tomorrow morning I'll come back here and see how bad it is, assuming it's not raining. So, the art department, as usual, another amazing poster.
Thank you.
And
I hope people are seeing it. I can't tell if we're live.
I tweeted the poster out.
Well, but I mean, I think we're just, like I said, we're in one of these situations where so many people are hitting the cellular network. It seems to be not working like it normally does. But yeah, this is a play on La Cage aux Folles. This is the Page aux Fools, where President Stupid needs a list that says, "You sit down."
I know. I mean, that's so bad on so many levels. I mean, you'd like to think that the United States president is in fact the leader of the free world and not the biggest idiot in the world. And for whatever reason, rightly or wrongly, there are powers that would like to do harm to the United States of America. And if they look and see the president and his team being as stupid as they obviously are, that's going to incite people to take risks, to challenge the United States. And this violence is only going to get worse around the world. The fact that President Stupid with his team is over in Germany, of all places, listening to anything the Germans have to say about anything, it's preposterous. I mean, I would have told, if you're so concerned about climate change and energy prices and focusing on the economy, I would have told the Chancellor of Germany to fuck off. And when you
that's diplomacy, right?
Yeah, I would have said, listen, dude, you started 2 world wars. We're in the middle of a 3rd one, and of all things, Donald Trump was telling you for every year of his term beforehand, he was telling you can't remain so dependent on Russian energy, and you decided in your infinite wisdom under Joe Biden to shut down 3 nuclear reactors. You're going to shut down another 3, your remaining 3, and the price of energy is ripping high. The Vice Chancellor of Germany announced today that his partial solution to addressing the energy issue was to take much shorter showers.
What? Is that serious?
Absolutely serious.
That's a ridiculous.
And if you can pan, I mean, look at that scene of humanity.
Yeah, let's check this out. I think people who haven't seen the Pride Parade before are going to find it difficult to understand that this is not it.
Yeah, this is the spillover to it.
Well, I mean, we've got room to move here compared to, what's that say? Maybe if SCOTUS got laid, our rights wouldn't be taken away. P.S. Gay sex is great. Well, why would gay people care about abortion stuff?
I don't know.
Charles, today is also our first day back with active cooling on the phone. It's 90 degrees.
Is it really 90?
Yeah, and I've been walking around for the past hour trying to get over here. I can't even load YouTube on my other phone here to see if we are live right now. So I just have no idea. I think this guy's selling booze. people would be wise to not buy drinks from people they don't know.
I think your hunch about excessive use of cell phones is pretty good.
Yeah. Well, it says we're live, but I'm not really seeing it. Here on Rumble, it seems to be showing, it says live, but no picture. Man, we still have skateboarders. 90 degrees, a million people around, and you still have dopes trying to skateboard.
This guy could use some clothes. It is.
Wow.
Out of the shade, it is, as they say in the South, hot. H-A-T, hot.
Yeah, it's hot. And also, I don't know, let me see if I can.
You want to snake back around this way,
Yeah.
or you want to go?
Wherever you want to go.
Let's just snake back in the shade and up and over.
Sure.
The longer we can stay in the shade, the
Sorry.
better. So I decided to dress casually today, Jason, in view of the heat. I didn't wear my overcoat.
Right. So yeah, I mean, we have, at this stage, this young lady is rather casually dressed. Are you allowed to have boobs on YouTube?
We call it U-boob.
Boob tube?
This is not. No, it's not.
U-boob?
There's another casually dressed young lady.
Ah, so here we go. It looks like we're live. I think. Here's that flag again. What is this the flag of?
This is a non-binary flag.
Non-binary flag, Charles.
Abolish SCOTUS, not abortion.
Should just put like the number 3 on there.
Smash capitalism for queer liberation. Let's go this way.
Okay. Yeah, okay. Looks like we're live.
Black trans lives matter. Pride means fight back. You know, I think on one level, it's testament to the strength of America that we can have so many different ways of expressing yourself and have, in the main, people be tolerant. So far, we haven't had any violent incidents today, despite the threat posed by radical Islamic militants who are very much anti-queer liberation, gay.
Was that Norway where that happened?
Yeah, in Oslo.
Wow, that's hard to imagine. That was pretty, well, but it was an Islamist. What was the story? What happened?
Yeah, it was an Iranian who had resettled into, right now.
Defaced? Yeah,
I'm just
I
trying
think
to get
so.
to this.
I always compare it to the size of the crowd that I was looking at standing on the stage at the Kenny Chesney concert, because that place held 120,000 people. And this is maybe not quite that many, but a lot. Charles, here comes some furries.
Right.
Now, this guy insists on stepping on the 3D shoes. I'm getting annoyed.
Sorry. Just wanted to make some headway there. You can see the damage that these people are doing to the lawn, for example, is going to be quite something.
They're also proving that that song, The Freaks Come Out at Night, is false.
Right. Or they were maybe using a 24-hour clock
Right.
night somewhere.
Yeah, this is another time zone here.
Tuba.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Unintended
They wanted to
consequences.
play polka music.
It's such a funny contrast, Charles. Like, before Crowdsource, the snake is non-binary, right? That guy's not into jokes.
That's pavement.
Snakes on a plane. Now, wait a minute. I was in the middle of a thought, and it just escaped me.
So if you could see, if you look down Washington Place, I don't know if you can see it. You see how dense that crowd is, way in the distance.
Yeah.
That's just the beginning of it. gets even more. Let's go veer to the left.
Sure. I remembered the thought. I was going to say, prior to Crowdsource the Truth, I think everybody realized you were an extremely serious person talking about financial whatnot, and now we just have so many images of you juxtaposed against absolutely bizarre circumstances.
I mean, I live in New York. I'm juxtaposed against bizarre people by definition on my way to get a cup of coffee.
But I guess before you met me, you weren't really photographed with them that much.
That's probably true.
So yeah, it's quite a crowd today. And you know, on my way over here, I did take a number of photos of New York's finest, absolutely texting, because they're not just standing there like getting some report from the phone about what they need to do. They're tapping with their thumbs, they're texting.
That girl had a t-shirt saying Mountain Jew.
That's funny.
Honestly, and here, look at this trash now. It's 3:15.
Well, and it's early, yeah.
You know, and this morning actually when I went out at first around 8 o'clock to check what was going on, check the, as it were, lay of the land. I'm walking down Waverly Place and I see this guy drinking rum. Straight rum out of the bottle at 8 o'clock in the morning on a Sunday. That's
How much is a bottle of water, ma'am? $2? Can we have two of those, please?
I don't need one.
You sure?
Yeah.
Just one. Thank you.
Thank you.
Have a nice
Want to
day.
hold something?
That's actually pretty reasonable. They could have, I was worried he was going to say 5.
Or 10. Yes.
I expected 5. 10 would have been a no. Hold that for 1 second, Charles.
Another production credit, Jason. Thanks for helping me with my SAG card.
Well, but
Or whatever card you get for being a production person. So,
yeah.
this is actually, for people who don't know Washington Square Park, this is one of the chess places where you see all these men with chess pieces. You come here and you play, and it's not a friendly game. You're going to gamble. And these people know how
Chess sharks.
They are chess sharks. They really do know how to play the game well. So what do you figure?
Well, let's keep walking around the park and see what's going on. We'll delve into the craziest parts.
So this
See,
is,
what we're also seeing over here are kind of like the normal park dwellers interfacing with, it's really a lot of people from out of town.
right. Well, this here is the dangerous section of the park, right here.
I don't think
Normally,
today it will be.
well, normally from this side to where we're going to go is you walk here at your own risk. When it's not special to yourself. But anyway.
Well, it doesn't seem to be very much focus on attacking stuff for SCOTUS stuff.
Well, yet.
Right.
I mean, there have been a large number of violent riots across the country, and including here. I just object to this idea that, you know, a particularly loudly proclaimed viewpoint, whether it's mainstream or not, is expressed, and you have no right to disagree. Right? You know, if you disagree, you're the intolerant person. You got to shut the fuck up, and you need to be canceled.
Right.
And that idiot Keith Olbermann, who really takes idiocy to a new low level, saying that now the Supreme Court should be abolished.
Did he say that?
Yep.
Yeah, it's anything they don't like, any outcome they don't like should be abolished.
Right.
You know, if Hillary doesn't like the outcome of the election, she can say it's whatever.
Well, what do you mean can say? She did.
Yeah.
She put in place a program to rig the primaries. That she certainly did
Against Bernie.
against Bernie, and then she, I believe, tried to rig the general election. That Billy Bush tape was all set up. They thought they were, too
A
clever.
friend of mine went on a date with Nancy O'Dell.
With who?
The woman that Trump said he was going to grab or buying. Here's where all the parks guys are, because there's all kinds of stuff going on over here that the cops need to be texting about. This is where the danger is, for sure.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous how the resources of this city are wasted.
I know. but hire lesbians, Cowboy Jen.
Who said that?
The T-shirt said hire lesbians, Cowboy Jen, Jen, whatever that means.
I don't know. Well, we're definitely walking away from
Well, yeah, that's the idea.
the craziness now.
It's still pretty crazy, as you see right ahead.
No way, this is a reprieve.
No. See the two ladies and what they're wearing here.
They look extremely young.
Yeah, I know. But as you head west, it'll get increasingly more and more crowded, more and more busy, and actually more and more dangerous. I'm amazed that we'll see, whether there's to be a big spike in COVID cases after today.
I don't think that'll happen. Maybe it will.
Yeah.
Remember Joe Rogan said that he was out drinking when he got sick, and I saw something recently that said that drinking alcohol can reduce your immune system. That seems kind of obvious.
Right.
I mean, anybody who's ever woken up with a bad hangover and then felt bad for a few days.
I'm surprised if that's the case that Hillary Clinton hasn't gotten COVID.
Maybe she has and didn't tell you.
Yeah, she's a big drinker. So you're feeling nervous, Jason?
Nervous about what?
You're having like flashbacks to when you were in college and you hadn't prepared for your final exam and you're getting close.
College was very easy for me, Charles. I mean, I didn't take too many classes. I mean, I got a degree in filming, so it's like kind of
I couldn't do that.
stupid degree.
I don't think it's stupid.
Well,
Hard for me to pass one class of that.
maybe.
Let alone however many credits you needed.
Yeah, it wasn't very academically challenging, and trying to figure out how to defeat lawsuits, that takes brain power. Like,
Right.
writing long, lengthy things like that is a definitely different experience than what I had in high school and college, and I don't think I was emotionally mature enough at that time to be doing that kind of work, because I was pretty bored by it.
Uh-huh.
And I was messing around on the computer and doing video stuff in high school, not really interested in
You didn't by
studying and
chance
writing.
play any video games in high school.
I did, but remember, video games, it was just coming around when I was a kid. My brother and I had an Atari, that was video games. And then ColecoVision, you didn't really have PCs with online gaming until kind of much later. When I was in college, people were getting into Nintendo and stuff, and even that wasn't online,
Right.
The first time I ever saw the internet was in this building coming up over here, which was a math building, and I took a special computer animation class at NYU before they had their, I think it's called ITP, Interactive Technology something. But this was, they had these big supercomputer silicon graphics things in the math department, and somebody started an animation class and you had to go there. Now they have a whole separate building for computer animation.
Wow.
But one of the guys in the class was like crapping around on Mozilla, and I was like, "What's that?" He's like, "Internet, man." It's like, this will never catch on. I didn't say that. I just had no idea what he was doing.
I remember the first time I heard the dial-up sound.
Yeah.
I was like, what the fuck is that? Is that like the alarm system in the building
Right.
went off? Turn that shit off.
Get your 2400 baud modem going. But I guess this must have been, I don't know, some kind of NYU must have been on DARPANET, ARPANET, who the hell knows
No
what
clue.
they had at that time. We've
So-
come a long way, Charles.
That's true. But I think there's a rather scantily clad group.
Here, we'll turn the camera around this way so people can see what's going on.
It's actually in the breeze. It's kind of
That's
pleasant.
nice over here, out of the sun.
That's the that law firm Whites and Luxembourg
700.
right there. It's always on TV. It's the
They got
W and L
Rumble
building.
Gym there.
The W and L building. I think if we go this way, we'll get to Planned Parenthood.
So people will notice they have a Rumble Gym there, Charles. Hang on a second. and dip.
Just an ambulance.
My God. So what I was going to say about Rumble, people can watch our simulcast on Rumble. I had a little back and forth with the Rumble tech support because, you know, I pay $100 a month for a Rumble Pro account to be able to live stream on there. And it's supposed to be monetized, which, you know, I don't generally like, but if it can offset the $100 a month to allow me to live stream there, that would be nice. And it hasn't, you know, no ads are running. So I sent their tech support people an email and they said, oh, we fixed it. But then somebody emailed me this morning saying they're watching on Rumble and there's no ads there. And remember, Rumble merged with Cantor Fitzgerald, and Howard Lutnick lived like right next door to Jeffrey Epstein. And also Howard Lutnick was like the one guy from Cantor Fitzgerald who just happened to not be in the building on 9/11. Did you know he holds a patent on interactive wagering on event outcomes?
Yeah, you told me about that.
David Hawkins found out about that. So I don't know, Rumble doesn't seem to want me to be monetized, but they love Dershowitz.
I think that's pronounced Dushowitz.
Dushowitz, they love him. Featured videos.
Let's see, I want to make sure we're going in the right direction. Yeah, you got to go a bit further down this way. And let's stay in the shade for sure.
Sure.
So speaking of Epstein and Dershowitz, Ghislaine Maxwell has been put on suicide watch.
Yeah, I heard about that. They better
And
break all the cameras.
Yeah, and
Brooklyn.
they got her sentencing is on Tuesday, I guess. Today's the 26th.
Yeah.
And but back on,
What do you think's going to happen with that sentencing?
I think they're going to throw the book at her.
Nah, she's going to be wheeled on a gurney and featured on the cover of the New York Post. Suicide, no cameras, and somebody who kind of looks like her.
Right.
Nothing's going to happen to her.
Well, I mean, you're saying she's going to die before she's sentenced?
Something stupid is going to happen. They're not. She's not revealing any names. Even if they sentence her, they'll put her somewhere. Tell those people in that jail that she's in solitary confinement. Tell us she's in jail. How the hell will we know? Well, careful.
We're good.
This guy's just charging across the street. No, I hear you, but the guy was going like 30 miles an hour. Yeah. This guy too. Oh boy. See, like today is an extra crazy day because we have all these imported dopes.
We have a pretty big supply of local dopes, particularly in this neighborhood.
So sorry, you were about to start on a new idea.
Well, just going to go back to the wisdom of Joe Biden being outside the country so many times at a time when the domestic economy is just imploding. And he has a collection. I mean, in Pete Buttigieg, who's probably got the most credentials in theory of any cabinet member, I mean, he is a proven idiot.
That's a sad comment.
I know, he's a proven idiot. And I hadn't appreciated that the transportation, all these flight cancellations, there's a series of reasons for it. One reason is that, I don't think it's down there, I think we have to go.
I thought pilots resigned because they didn't want the vaccine.
Right, that's one. And the FDA, I mean the FAA doesn't have enough people in it. So that's another bottleneck. Then on top of that, you have airports like Newark has decided to close 13% of its capacity.
Why?
To modernize.
What?
I know. And here's the Secretary of
They just did that.
Here's the Secretary of Transportation. He's got cargoes offshore the U.S. and boats. The solution is, just make them go further offshore so we don't count
People
them.
can't see it.
Right?
Yeah.
That's the solution. He gets all bent out of shape because his personal flight gets canceled, and he and Chasen and the kids have to drive from Washington, D.C. to New York for some reason. So he's all pissed off and threatening the airlines and saying, well, if they don't fix it, then maybe the government's going to step in and start running the airlines.
What a dick.
That always works well.
How can he even suggest that?
Because he puts the mo in moron. I mean, he's crazy.
That is bad.
And I was,
Hey, look. There's
there.
a second Uncle Bud van, Charles. I
Where?
noticed the one up by my apartment was very busy,
yeah.
and there's their second location. As somebody tries to kill us.
Yeah. Now, I think
Somebody
we want
else.
to get across the street.
Oh yeah,
here.
there it is.
Yeah. Just trying to, as much as possible, get in the shade. Boy. Do they have the light?
We have the light. Massachusetts can wait. She's
right.
just like ready to run us over. What a dummy that lady
It's
is.
from Massachusetts.
I mean, she's just totally not looking and driving forward.
She's from Massachusetts. Massachusetts drivers are among the worst. Probably
Massholes.
worse than Brazilian drivers. And Brazilian drivers, as you know, are crazed.
I have driven in Brazil.
You actually drove? Wow.
I
You're a brave
drove.
man.
I drove 5 hours on the highway.
Really?
And
You don't speak Portuguese.
no falo Portuguese. But I got like $500 worth of tickets in the mail when I got home.
Why?
Because I had a rental car, and I was like, hey, this highway's empty. I might as well just like blast 100 miles an hour.
You go that way?
And then they were like, oh, we have all these like speed cameras
Oh,
all throughout
right.
Brazil, and Hertz sent me a bunch of tickets. So there's nobody here. Those cops are, I guess, waiting. That's interesting, right?
Well, so as I understand it, there are many types of pregnancy centers. There's some which encourage pregnant people who don't want to carry the baby to term to actually carry the baby to term and put the baby up for adoption.
And do they give them money and stuff
I don't
to
know
do
what
that?
the deal is, but they take care of them one way or another. Because I learned this actually when Clarissa and I first thought about starting a family. She had some friends at her job who couldn't get pregnant. And they were trying for like 5 years or something like that. And then the process back in the 80s.
Maybe they didn't have in vitro then.
Well, I forget how they did it, but I mean, it was like, I spent the first part of my life thinking, better not get anybody pregnant.
Right.
And then when it's time to get pregnant, it's like, it's not that easy.
Yeah, isn't that the way a lot of things work?
I know. It's sort of the way garbage works. That's a fine pile of garbage, Jason. That's a Biden-esque pile of garbage.
It's just
don't you think?
ridiculous. Oh, and there's another one right over there.
You got to have every yin has its yang.
Yeah.
You should actually have there should be those garbage bags are racist. They should be white.
Yep.
In fact, they should have the bag colors should be broadly representative of the population. So
No, I'm surprised they didn't use the rainbow flag for the bags today. So the garbage could be gay also.
that would be dishonoring pride.
We should go buy Big Gay ice cream and see if they're having a
leave
big
the
party.
garbage there.
They have a garbage flavor in honor of today.
That's right. I like a garbage-chino from Starbucks. Frappuccino, garbage-chino. Serve it at the G7. Some of that Bill Gates shit water.
Well, the other thing that's happening is Belarus is getting ready. This guy's picking his nose, rolling through the light. Belarus is getting ready to join the war, they said.
It's amazing. And, if you were to tell me that Republicans are more, kick that dog, are more prone to being warmongers than Democrats, I would probably agree with that.
When?
In the 80s, under Reagan, under Bush. But now, I mean, here we have so much munitions sent from Czech to Ukraine that they're now incapable of defending their own country. We have the EU and just now with the US and others committed to the indefinite defense of Ukraine. The indefinite, as long as it takes, as much as it takes.
I think they also said that Ukraine's going to join the EU, didn't
Right,
they?
and Vladimir Putin his troops are crushing the Ukrainians, and Putin is making increasingly tough statements. I mean, he's calling out the fact that most recently I saw this on my Twitter feed. The Russian Foreign Ministry noted, I forget the precise number, I want to say it was 200, it might have been 400 There are 400 tactical nukes in Europe. A large number of them are supplied by the United States, and Russia's noting that.
Yeah.
And you have to assume as Russia that those might be used against you. How many does Russia have?
I think they also said something about Nicaragua invited Russia to put some kind of base in Nicaragua.
It wouldn't surprise me.
Yeah, because the United States has been messing with Nicaragua with the Contras and everything.
Not just Nicaragua.
Well, but obviously that's where Iran-Contra was going down. There's some kind of big...
Oh yeah. So what we could do, I don't know how much further down you want to go, but we could, if we go west now, we might be able to get
around the parade.
Around the mess.
Yeah, let's try it, and we'll look at that side of it.
And if we can't, we'll just continue further down either whatever avenue we get to. This is more normal for a Sunday.
Yeah.
Just kind of
quiet.
With the helicopter getting ready to drone strike us.
Yeah. Drone strike the park, and they'll be like, boom, several problems resolved. So I was talking with Lee about how the CEO of Kraken.com said, listen, if you're woke and don't like what's happening at the company, here's 4 months pay, hashtag GTFO. And a lot of people quit.
Good.
Well, yeah. I mean, I totally support that idea. If you're not happy, there's the door.
Yeah, this idea that at work you should be doing things other than working,
right,
is something I can't relate to. I mean, I think that, I know in my experience when I decided to work any place I did work, I spent all my waking hours, business hours, trying to advance the company.
Right.
And feeling that if I chipped in at the end, I'd be well looked after, and I was well looked after for taking that attitude. The second you start deciding that, well, you've been there for 6 weeks, and you need to tell the CEO how to eat and dress.
Right.
And think,
what are your goals?
Exactly.
They were asking Elon Musk that. It's like,
were they really?
Well, they were. And actually, here's something strange that I haven't heard anybody speaking about. Elon Musk has not tweeted in 5 days. So whose dog is this off leash? Why don't you put the leash on him? Well, see, we're all here, and you don't own the city, so you should respect people and keep a leash on your dog.
Noted.
Are you from New York?
Are you?
Yeah! Put a leash on the dog, asshole!
Let's let it go.
You come to the city, you disrespect the people, you disrespect the law, put a leash on the dog. This is the problem with New York, is that we got motherfuckers like this who think that these are their streets, do whatever they want.
They're not going to change.
I hope your dog gets run over. This guy. I hope you get run over. Charles, people like that. So let me ask you something. We've had this concealed carry SCOTUS decision. I think people want to hear your opinion of what that's going to do. I've heard a lot of really faulty evaluations from lawyers and people. Uh-oh.
What?
Lost sound. Something weird happened. Huh. Hang on a second, Charles. Here, grab this, please. Oh, wait, this thing turned off. Did it overheat? The sound recorder turned off. That's never happened before. Let's see.
batteries aren't dead.
Duper low on the sound recorder. We might be having a much shorter show than expected, but let's see what happens. Sorry about that, Charles. Guys like that just really chap my ass.
I know.
If I had a gun, it would have come out right there. And he would have put a leash on his dog. So what do you think is going to happen with this latest?
Well, I think the United States has been sharply divided for a while. Folks who live in New York City and New York State or lower New York State are happy to take away rights that are in the Constitution, to assert rights that are not in the Constitution, and to get up and swear that they're, in their roles as public officials, upholding the Constitution. That's just the way they roll. I mean, for Chuck Schumer, for example, to say that the SCOTUS, the decision on abortion, reflects that the Supreme Court decision proves, in so many words, he said, it proves that the Supreme Court is willing to uphold the beliefs of slave-owning rapists.
What?
That they likened the people who wrote the Constitution to being slave-owning rapists. Yeah.
Oh, so we're going to throw away everything because...
Right. But this is Chuck Schumer. I mean, he brags on his Wikipedia page, or the Wikipedia page brags that he got a perfect score on his SATs. I mean, it's just a moronic statement.
It is a moronic statement, and I think we should go back through the entire history.
This is just dead again.
What do we do?
Well, that's never happened before. Let's see why that's happening.
Let's just get out.
Maybe your battery is not fully... Here, hang on a second. Hold this a second. Let me just see if the batteries are maybe not... I don't understand why that would be happening. This thing is supposed to last for... that might not have been fully on there. Maybe that'll help it. That seems to have brought it back to life. Yes. Okay, I think we might be...
I think we might be good now, Charles.
Good, Jason.
One of the batteries wasn't fully clicked in. Good. So Chuck Schumer, I mean, I'm sure somewhere in his history is somebody who did something that people might not approve of. Perhaps he should...
Somewhere in his presence.
Right.
Presence.
Yeah, exactly. He's there threatening the Supreme Court.
Right. And so back on the issue of the gun decision, as I have not read either decision. I have just been very busy, and don't want to plow into a 147-page decision on abortion and whatever it was on gun rights. But as I understand the reasoning, you have the natural right to keep and bear arms. And what the control freaks like to do is to say, well, you may have that right. If they try the argument that now you have the right, but you need a license, and then
A permit, yeah.
Well, and then they're going to go further and say, as they do with cars, they're going to try the argument of saying, well, you have the right, you need to get the permit, but you need to, gun owners, I could see them trying this one on for size, gun owners need to pay insurance so that when victims are killed, settlements are going to be paid by the gun owners. I can see them trying that.
Well, I'll tell you what would be okay, I think, is that if you wanted to own a gun, you need liability insurance in case your use of the gun results in someone getting injured.
Right,
Yeah, but then you shoot somebody in self-defense, they're suing your insurance company.
Well, or beyond that, who's to say that people like John Kerry and Chuck Schumer and others would say, all right, now we're going to make the cost of the insurance $1 million a year.
Right.
Let's go that way.
Yeah, and then the insurance company is going to say, well, no, you can't. See, that's the irony, is that the Constitution does say you have the right to keep and bear arms, and they're talking about guns, and they're saying you have the right to have them. It doesn't say you have the right to have an abortion. And they're saying that anything that's done to change anything about access to abortion is a totally unacceptable infringement, but putting all these restrictions on a clearly articulated right, that's okay, and they want it.
Well, and what was really disgusting, when you see the President of the United States rush out as he did to say that with this Supreme Court decision on abortion, we are now among the least tolerant nations in the developed world. That is just
not
absolutely false.
But he also said that they're going to oppose it, and they're going to. I mean, I don't understand how the executive branch challenging the legitimacy of the judicial branch is any different than any person challenging the legitimacy of the executive branch, something they have not allowed for the past year and a half.
Well, come on now. Are you trying to be logical? And
I know they hate that.
I mean, use common sense and be consistent in your and you actually think, Jason, or are you just winging it now? So now we're on Spring Street heading west, and you see it's not that bad at this point. Certainly not as busy.
We're below the fray
Well,
here.
We'll keep going west, and we'll look up, 6th Avenue. We'll look up 7th Avenue and see how bad it looks.
Yeah, it's really
This
amazing
is tolerable.
contrast. Well,
Right.
this is nice down here. It's pretty empty. See, part of the problem with the walk-around shows is that you get so distracted by
Right.
things on the street that it's hard to remember the topics that we want to discuss.
I could let's take one of the Clinton Foundation quickly. I am exploring, I don't want to say precisely how, but I'm exploring a way to get some details out in printed form. But the record gets clearer and clearer as the more I go over my notes, the more I remember, the more I'm able to piece things together. It is crystal clear that the FBI
Is incompetent?
absolutely knew the Clinton Foundation was a fraud as soon as 2001. I mean, by January 20th, 2001, when Bill Clinton, in the dead of the night, following his
I think I was just like, yeah, like that was really confusing. I was like, you're like,
following his dead of the night pardon of Mark Rich and others, and it wasn't really Mark Rich was bad, but there were Susan Rosenberg and the Puerto Rican Liberation Army people, a lot of really bad pardons that he just sailed through in the dead of night.
But it seems like the Mark Rich one stole the show. People didn't, I think, realize the importance of those Weather Underground people.
Right.
Like a
So,
trip.
and maybe Mark Rich is a limited hang-up. Maybe they wanted us to focus on that and ignore Susan Rosenberg and ignore the perilous state of the Clinton Foundation
Yeah.
and how it had been used from October '97 through the end of the second term as a conduit for people who either wanted pardons or wanted other benefits from the Clintons. You pay them off by the foundation, and you also use the foundation as seed money for Hillary's Senate campaign, which costs a lot of money. So maybe they didn't want to focus on that. But by the time Bill gets to Chappaqua on January 20th, or whatever day it was, 21st, 2001, the Clinton Foundation had not lifted one shovel worth of dirt on the site in Little Rock. They'd done absolutely nothing other than maybe spend some time on money on architectural plans. But there was no presidential complex. And the FBI, in the FBI vault, we have the 3-part record that shows immediately by February 15th, the FBI swarming all over the Clinton Foundation, fighting with this in the public record, fighting to get the identities of every donor of $5,000 or more. And they got that. They won that battle by March.
Why did they want that?
Because they were trying to figure out, why did you give money to the Clinton Foundation specifically, and
But
what
$5,000?
that's the cutoff for major donors. You're
So,
defined
I mean,
as
they
a
would
major
have
donor.
had
So they
Bill
should
Gates.
have. Well, they should have had really good information about, who was giving money. And this investigation went from February of 2001 to a time unknown as yet. That's over the park.
Yeah, it's
A time unknown in 2005. So 4 years. Our vaunted FBI, which does have a very good forensic accounting team, they should have been able to see that the Clinton Foundation had no audits. And the work that they tried to pass off as being compliant was not compliant. And they should have been able to figure out precisely who had given money to the Clinton Foundation, which governments had given. Supposedly Saudi Arabia, pick one, gave $10 million in 2004. I think it was in June of 2004. And yet the 990 for 2004 doesn't say anything about, it says there were no government grants. First time you ever see government grants is 2007 or 8, I think.
Remember what the story was from the Ginger Frankenstein, Patrick Byrne. He alleged that the FBI approached him to use him as a sort of a intermediary to introduce Hillary Clinton to some kind of foreign donor.
Right.
Because according to him, the FBI wanted to set her up in a sting so that they could have information to hold over her when she was the president. Well, maybe that aspect of the story is true, but it wasn't, obviously what Patrick Byrne was saying is not true, because if the FBI really wanted to do that, they would have had it from this investigation into the Clinton Foundation that you're talking about.
Well, I think we see the way the FBI operates. If they don't like you, they Roger Stone you. They Paul Manafort you. Jerry Corsi you.
You know what they did to Laura? They just put her name on a you can't buy a gun list.
Okay. And if they don't, but on the other hand, if they do like you, you're Hillary Clinton, then you're bankable.
Right.
They pretend to investigate her email situation. They pretend to investigate the Clinton Foundation. And they basically get word to whoever they need to get word to that we let you off this time, we own you. You're going to be the president, but we don't work for you. You work for us.
Exactly. So that sounds like what the investigation was about.
And is about. I think it's.
So see, the other thing is, one aspect of the, not to move off of this, but you're talking about somebody other than the person in control being in control.
Right.
We think that Joe Biden is the president, but it definitely seems like somebody is handing him note cards about when he's supposed to sit down and stand up and what he's supposed to do. And it's very interesting that in January, that guy, Fargasy, what's his last name, who was the director of the White House military office, he quit. And now there's really nobody officially in charge of that, which is a great way to avoid accountability. But that card would have been produced by the White House military office. They handle his communications. That's a presidential communication, isn't it? He's giving a public speech. They handle Air Force One. They handle his motor pool. It seems like the White House military office is the they that he's talking about when he says they don't want me talking about this.
Could be. I mean, it's just an area I don't know enough about. I don't know anything about.
Well, someone's controlling Joe Biden. We don't know who it is.
Someone's pretending to control. Is this where you get your Ducati service?
I don't have one, but it would be.
Oh, Jason, you're being modest. I know you've got 6, but I mean.
Yeah. Motorcycles are pretty dangerous, I think.
Very dangerous.
I think I told you my ex-wife had an almost life-ending motorcycle accident after she moved back to Brazil.
That's
I didn't
horrible.
know about it until she had recovered.
Yeah, driving in Brazil is a challenge, but driving a motorcycle is insanity.
Well, she told me she would never ride one again, and she's afraid of them now.
You have to be, because people drive at very high speeds in Brazil,
right,
around blind corners.
Yeah, you could be the safest driver in the world. Somebody touches the back tire and you wake up in the hospital unable to walk for 9 months.
Or the rest of your life.
That was what they told her.
Yeah. Huh. So this doesn't seem as bad. This is 7th Avenue here, Varick Street.
Yeah, we're well below it now.
So let's try a
Is this Elon Musk?
Let's try a pride experiment, and we'll walk up 7th Avenue and see how it changes.
But don't you find it strange that Elon Musk, who's normally tweeting, holy crap, I know it, 3, 4, 5 times a day, sometimes 3, 4, 5 times an hour, now he hasn't tweeted anything for the past 5 days, and nobody has said anything about that.
Well,
we don't know if Twitter has given him the fire hose.
Yeah.
Wow.
So
What's this?
The Dominic Hotel.
Soho?
I don't remember. This seems shady over here.
Yeah.
I went in slut for butt. I went into
Oh my God.
Starbucks the other day, thinking I'd buy a breakfast sandwich, which used to be $3.45. It's $4.95. I just turned right around.
Wow.
It's
Yeah,
nuts.
Starbucks is pretty bad.
Yeah, actually, their coffee is not. The coffee is atrocious. The tea is tolerable, but you don't really need to go into a Starbucks to make a cup of tea from here.
Somebody actually told me something that should have been obvious. A lot of times the tea bags have plastic in them that when you put it in the boiling water,
You're getting plastic in your
you're
tea.
getting chemicals in the tea.
That's
So,
what makes it good.
well, get one of those metal little tea, whatever they call it, that tea sphere that you can put loose tea into. Sometimes I'm starting to realize, Charles, some of those old methods are still better.
Absolutely. Yeah, now this is amazing. That doesn't seem busy at all.
Well, there's nobody down here. Everybody's concentrated in the park and
I
on
think
Fifth Avenue.
we'll turn the corner up here. That's always smart.
Even though it's not crowded, we still have an asshole on the sidewalk with a
Like,
bicycle.
but it's a city
Well, I
bike.
think it's not crowded
sustainable.
because all of the avenues are blocked off up there, so people can't get down here
Oh, that could be.
with cars.
Could be. So just finishing on the Clinton Foundation, the FBI had to know in 2001 that it was a fraud. Comey had to know. I mean, he actually was leading, in theory, the investigation. He had to know it was a fraud.
Right.
And here we see Corinne Brown, who served some time in prison for $1 million charity fraud.
She's running again.
Running and getting the nerve. I mean, that maybe that's the way it works. I mean, if you can commit fraud and get away with it, they want you to represent the people.
Yeah. She's an experienced congressperson. She's been to jail.
Con man, I think is the term.
Con person, Charles. What are you, a biologist?
I'm not. I'm not trained as a biologist. Here's your Marriott Courtyard.
Oh, yeah.
So be careful here. I don't know what this is. Are those rats? Is that?
Whoa, oh. This is a piece of a tire.
All right. Okay.
So, there's so much to be talking about here. Let's see.
Devious.
Yeah, more bicycles. I don't understand all these people who just think that they can do whatever the hell they want. My thing is, if there's no laws and everybody can do whatever they want, I should be able to walk around with a bat and hit guys like that. G7 leaders agree to support Ukraine indefinitely. And wasn't it the G8 and then they kicked out Russia?
Russia, yeah.
That's not nice.
Well,
I mean, well, it can be like
if you look at who holds the cards on Europe, first of all, Russia has a very large standing military force as well as Navy and submarines, much closer to Europe than our forces are. Secondly, Russia truly feels threatened by moves the Biden administration has taken and the allies.
Yeah.
And they have a history, over their long history, of when they feel threatened, they may take preemptive attacks. They make preemptive attacks. And looking at Biden right now, he looks crippled, right? And certainly the Western European economies are reeling already, and that's before Russia cuts all the gas off and maybe all the coal off to Europe. And each day that passes now is the day when it gets colder and colder and colder.
Well, they said Putin is going to go visit like Turkmenistan or something. So maybe he's now going around forming his own coalition. Belarus, some of these former republics of the Soviet Union have asked for Russian help from economic to military or whatever. Maybe he's saying, hey, remember when you wanted help? Here's your chance to join a new counter-NATO thing.
Right.
And maybe there's a strategic way they can prevent people from blocking things or circumvent what's going on with Lithuania and their whole blockage of the trains or whatever they were doing.
Well, there's this portion of Russia that's not geographically attached to Russia, but by treaty is part of Russia, called Kaliningrad. And it is sandwiched between Poland and Lithuania. And so there is an existing treaty long-standing treaty that acknowledged that transfers of goods and services from Russia to Kaliningrad would not be interfered with by.
We're going to hit it kind of up
I
here.
want to see how close we get and how it changes. This is your favorite Chinese food, king wok.
This thing's driving to London.
By the way, it's not fantastic pizza, but this pizza place here it doesn't look that nice. It's pretty good.
They are your pizza heroes.
It's pretty interesting. Yeah, so here's where they start cutting off the traffic. And it's just about here where we should start seeing the throngs. Now, I would say
see a cop texting.
let's cross into the shade when we can.
So they got this Kaliningrad.
Yeah, and so for some reason, they decided now, that is to say, Lithuania has decided now with the backing of NATO, that they now want to step up and violate the treaty and block the shipment of goods from Russia to Kaliningrad and vice versa. And the Russians have said, they didn't wait around. They immediately said, listen, this is a provocative act, and we are likely going to respond to this, not diplomatically, but militarily.
Yeah.
So we'll wait and see what they decide to do.
Yeah, I mean, Putin sort of like tells you what he's going to do. He's not really in a rush, and then he just sort of does it.
Yeah. So, I mean, who knows? Something could happen tonight for all we know.
Any minute, yeah. We never know.
This is surprisingly not busy, actually.
Yeah, I mean, I guess we're below the cutoff. Up over there by Caliente Cab is where I was able to get through to you. I had to come all the way down here. But the parade was going right by there when I was up here around 2:30.
Oh, it makes such a difference whether you're in the shade or not.
Yeah. Well, and there's traffic coming through down here now, so I guess maybe they let people.
I think it's just up ahead around Christopher Street.
Yeah, Russia is supplying Belarus with
It's what?
Iskander-M missile systems. Here's RT is telling us about Lithuania clarifying their stance on transit to the Russian exclave. President Nausėda says there can be no corridors for sanctioned goods between Kaliningrad and the rest of the country. Lithuania will maintain the ban on transit of sanctioned goods.
So they are banning?
That's what they say. It's absolutely clear that Lithuania must and will implement EU sanctions. So, you know, the EU is being a sort of a pain in the ass if you're Russia.
That's not terribly new.
right.
It's been a pain in the ass. I use that phrase advisedly on Pride Day. Ab initio.
When not texting, they're buying ice cream, Charles.
Got to do that. Yeah, I mean, this is remarkably empty. Where did they all go?
It's just up ahead of Caliente Cab, like 2 blocks up there. People are here having a reprieve from the craziness and
Eating the
smoking
heat.
weed.
She was like, we have to go to Dollar Scoop. I was like, what? And she's like, Dollar Scoop. The ice cream place where it's 99 cents.
Yeah, I mean, you hear the accents. Nobody here is from New York. And that dope with his dog off leash was like, "Are you from New York?" It's like, listen to what I'm saying to you, asshole. Can't you tell? And he was like,
Well, California's kind of New York, dude.
It's like, that's the thing. People want to show up from wherever and think they're gonna, you know, project their values, whether it's coming from a communist country and taking over Twitter and saying, well, we don't really like this idea of freedom of speech. Now it looks like these guys are getting ready to have a barbecue. What are you guys? What are you doing? Barbecue? So probably when they open the street, there'll be a ton of people. Right, this is going to be a wild party all night.
Right.
Those guys will be grilling up jerk chicken or whatever. What a place to leave your expensive Mercedes. It's strange, isn't it?
I think the sound is coming here.
K-Dog. It's funny, there's a lot of expensive cars parked here. How did that happen?
Probably the cops.
Having big Mercedes like that?
Could be. They're well paid, some of them. With the overtime.
Smells like booze. Oh, it's this. So here we go. We're getting closer to it now.
Yeah. So maybe what we'll do is go up to Christopher and then I'll leave you.
Sure, whatever. Everything around here is pretty packed right now, Charles.
Sorry?
Well, restaurants and everything are just super duper full. Yeah, now we're starting to get to, like, these are going to be unwalkable streets if we just try to go. Here, you can see over here, if we come out into the middle of the street, you see where it's fenced off up there.
Yeah. Let's stay in the shade though.
Sure. Yeah, let's go wide. Try to get around this. I might have to take 10th Avenue home. You should have worn those socks.
The rainbow socks?
Yeah. So what else is on your mind, Charles? I think we're
Well,
on the wrong side of the street for
Yeah.
shade.
I think I'm going to leave you there at Christopher Street.
It's a little hot for a
let's-
full-length show, right? Yeah. Let's,
Well, I'm also just,
what?
not really enamored of the crowds.
Oh, I hear you. So here, let's cut left here.
Yep. So you don't have these fences where they make you go around.
I think we're going to hear something about, there's got to be a reason for Elon Musk's 5 days of
Well,
silence.
remember that issue with his son,
Right.
and
Yeah, something's going on. Maybe he's got his hands on the fire hose.
or who knows? Give him, respect his privacy. Make a right here, and then this way. Yeah, this way, Jason. Jay. Gotta have 5 policemen.
Yeah, on that, right. I mean, it's just such a waste of resources. Almost every cop we see is doing nothing.
Well,
Even this is a fraction of what was going on before. So there was a whole, like fire truck, or not a fire truck, but like a float with all kinds of people, like a double-decker bus or something coming through that was leading the parade. And then loads of people just like shoulder to shoulder right here. Here's another weed store.
yeah. And you really have to watch these fences, Jason.
Yeah, I just screwed up the 3D shoes.
So I'm gonna let you.
All right, I'm going to continue the show as I walk home for people who want to see Nicolas Cage died for our sins.
Hot.
All right, thanks, Charles.
Thank you, Jason.
Have a nice day.
All right, you too. Thanks. Get home safely. Huh?
Yeah, I'll carry on.
All right, and watch this.
Take care. All right, everybody, so we'll bid Charles adieu and carry on with the show on the walk home. People want to watch the parade or see what's going on here. Let's see. My best route. This is going to be a mad jam. Getting home. Yeah, it's less crowded for sure. I guess the main parade is over and people have now kind of retired to bars and restaurants, and it was very hot today, so maybe that was good.
What? I'm like, what the fuck?
Kind of heat people up and drain their energy. I personally get sort of tired being out in the sun all day. But this could take a really long time to get home this way.
Did they play live?
One of the problems in New York is that there's some people who do not move at New York speed. There's this out-of-town mosey.
I see them. Come on, they straight. You do?
So sometimes people, wow, what a mess. Right, so you see, what happens is a lot of people who aren't from New York come here for a day, crap the place up, walk around with their dogs off leash, disrespect the city, disrespect the people who live here, disrespect the people who pay the taxes that pay for these police and the sanitation department that are going to clean up their mess, and then look at me crooked when I tell them to respect everybody and respect the law. There are some people, this is the pride parade. I think we need a humility parade. Yeah, I think it's mostly over now.
Yes, I was paddling.
Bomb squad. That's a pretty fancy looking vehicle.
But if you got your own stand, you said it's boring.
So it's a little bit like Halloween, you know, everybody's got super extravagant costumes. I don't know if people caught the counter lawfare report the other day. Some really interesting evidence revealed. If you didn't see it, I definitely encourage people to become sponsors on subscribestar.com/crowdsourcethetruth or patreon.com/crowdsourcethetruth and check it out. I've been getting a lot of emails from people who are really, appreciating the diligence with which I've developed the evidence that indicates that these people are lying. I mean, I've known it for a long, long time. But the problem with lies is that, you know, maybe you can sustain them for a while, but the truth, it just can't be held back. And these lies, you have to constantly be maintaining them. And it's just inevitable that mistakes will be made. And if somebody like me is there watching everything the liars are doing, the mistakes get caught and revealed. Now the question is, will anyone in law enforcement or the courts do anything? Here's another cop texting. Oh, he just put the phone down. But you could see it in his hand. As he was walking in front of me, he was texting. What is this? Bussy galore. So this is some kind of party on the bus. You stop when the light is red, lady. You understand how it works? Oh, look, the dog has a GoPro. That's awesome. I really like those videos where people, you know, go to work and leave their dog home with the video cameras on, and then you get to see what the dog is doing all day. It's kind of sad for the dog. They're very lonely all day. I didn't really want that guy's dog to get run over. The dog is innocent. Its owner is an idiot. But that's the problem. When you're a dog and your owner is an idiot, they're putting you at risk. Part of the reason you have to have a dog on leash is because when an idiot like that encounters another idiot, their dogs could fight, attack each other, attack a person, and by the time that jackass gets involved, somebody's already injured, somebody else's dog is already hurt. That's why we have laws like that. You put the dog on a leash, you leave him there. People who come from out of town don't understand New York City too well. All these cops getting overtime, standing around. It's a real waste of resources. They got their eye on me with the camera. How's it going? What the fuck are you looking at?
He was just like talking about like.
Yeah, so the counter lawfare report, basically, I'm pointing to empirical evidence that's there on a government website. It's all there. I'm not interpreting anything. I'm not making anything up. It's not my opinion. There is a document on the docket in federal court that can't possibly be there without criminal activity. It's a forged document. It's filed 3 days before it was created. How could that possibly happen? And again, for months I've been talking about this, and there's been no logical answer, just a repeated false statement that, oh, Jason's lying. Well, what am I lying about? How am I lying? They haven't said. So this is now where all the parade goers have gone. Everybody is jammed into bars and restaurants.
We're walking out.
I'm pretty far west here. 8th Avenue is definitely, this is new. I haven't seen this V Friends. Maybe that's vegan. But actually 8th Avenue is the ideal avenue to go up in the wake of the Gay Pride Parade, because this is a very gay-friendly neighborhood. Lots of restaurants and businesses catering to the LGBTQIA plus 2. They need a weekly update as to what the acronym is. Look at this little guy. Yeah, I mean, if you're that small and you're in a huge city street like this with all these people going crazy, and you're a dog, you might be confused. Whoop. So these cops are just hanging out chatting. I mean, you know, on a day like today, to some extent, you just need the presence of lots of police around. But I mean, at this point, we know they're doing nothing. And what about that? We got a little kid. I guess some people don't mind exposing the little kids to people with their various organs hanging out all over the place.
Let's try the right end.
Now wait a minute, this place says Kaiten Cocktail Bar. Is it Sushi Kaiten? Is this a Kaiten sushi restaurant? They have a conveyor belt inside there?
No, it's just a bar. That's Sushi on Jones.
If people have ever had sushi Kaiten, not to be confused with Kaizen. Actually, Joe Rogan was trying to, who was he interviewing? Maybe David Blaine. He was talking about Kaizen, but he couldn't find the word. Made me wonder if Joe Rogan watches Crowdsource the Truth. I bet you he's seen some of the stuff. You know, Dershowitz clip got a lot of play. when I was walking around at the height of the pandemic, going to the hospitals. A lot of people saw that. Is this Elon Musk? Somebody probably got heat stroke. Somebody probably got heat stroke. I don't know how Charles walks around with that big jacket on. I mean, it was like fully 90 degrees today. Very hot. Glad to see the active cooling system for the phone worked. All these cops are eyeballing me. I guess people are fascinated by the audio recorder. Not that interesting. Somebody's come out with a new, I think it's only 24-bit, but it's like the size of a pack of cards versus this, which is maybe the size of a heavy cigar box. This seems to be a popular pizza place right next to the weed place. That's smart business. Weed and pizza. Man.
On the corner, hustle the Christmas.
So, you know, nobody who wants to enjoy New York, maybe not nobody, but tons of people who want to enjoy New York don't seem to be able to respect New York. They want to show up here and try and tell me what's what. I don't really appreciate it. This dog's had a long day.
I can't take lap in. Yeah, lap into the left.
I should have pre-recorded some of what was going on when I was walking over here. It was a mad crowd through the on the way down. I think it's pretty over. Yeah, normally I sort of generally stay home on Pride Parade Day just because, I mean, it so takes over the streets and everything. I remember one time I was doing a gig at 21st Century 3D and was there pretty late, and I don't remember the details, but I was trying to get home and it was just like big pain in the ass. So I think we got the Barrow Street Ale House over here, if I'm not mistaken. This is going to monetize it. Yeah, it's calmed down nicely. Everybody is just hanging out. Let's see if we got any comments here. Who is Scavelli 7? Saying stupid stuff. So you're saying that because I'm out making a video of this, you have some issue with that, Scavelli 7? Charles never looked so happy to leaving home. Yeah, I agree. I think it was the heat, to tell you the truth. Like I said, I don't understand how he can tolerate it with that jacket. I'm wearing shorts and a cotton t-shirt, and he's got a blazer and everything. Taken about the most circuitous possible route, but Here's the Clam. These cops are having an easy patrol here. Yeah, actually, I've just made a circle. I'm going the wrong way. The Pink Pussycat is down by Monty's, actually. The Pink Pussycat was a sex toy store, I think. It's like right across the street, not from Monty's, from that Spanish restaurant down there. Just the Facts, ma'am, hates New York. Well, I'm sad to hear that. Have you been here? Granted, it hasn't been at its best for the past 2 years. Is this Elon Musk? Well, Scavelli, I thought you were directing the comment at me. I mean, I agree with you. I mean, I don't really think it's. I'm not going to talk about what I think, because what I think is incompatible with what YouTube thinks, and you're no longer allowed to think freely. You got to think the way they want you to think, or get kicked off. Yeah, I don't know, Brad, when this parade started. I feel like it was sometime around when I was in college, the 90s. I do feel like there were a couple of years where it was a new thing, and there was not that many people going to it. It was just kind of like going down Fifth Avenue for a limited amount of time, and there were a bunch of people who would dance on the floats and everything, and it was sort of an oddity. But what I dislike about it the most is it just takes over the whole city, and assholes like that guy with the dog and people who are throwing their garbage everywhere make a mess out of the place and then just leave. And I don't think it really helps the businesses. I mean, they're just buying weed from people who come from out of town, buying food from impromptu barbecues like the one we saw setting up. I guess it's helping the businesses. Those restaurants were definitely pretty full. But, you know, that sort of happens always. Is this little guy a dachshund? Or girl?
A boy.
Yeah, a little guy. Very cute. But the hair looks slightly different. Is that a...
He's just a puppy.
Uh-huh. But is it a...
He's a long hair.
Long hair dachshund. All right, very cute. So wait a minute. Yeah, I made a full circle and I'm back down to where we were here. How the hell did I do that? Right? This Maine lobster truck I walked by already. Bedford Street. Right, and we're coming up to, wow, that's wild. Coming up to Caliente Cab there. All right, whatever. We'll just walk up 7th Avenue. At least it's me now without, you know, just one person. It might be a little easier to get through. Yeah, once you start getting into the hardcore West Village, if you don't know it well, you get turned around a lot. See, the cops always have the phone out to text. Yeah, here's the ice cream place where the cops were buying ice cream. And here's the free Cuba. That's absurd. So for everybody who watches me walking around and now thinks they know New York City, you can see how confusing it is sometimes, particularly when I'm looking at the comments. No, Scavelli, I obviously misunderstood something. See, that's the problem, is that sometimes I look at the comments and there are lots of things that were said before that I haven't seen, and I miss the comment and don't know what's being said. So I apologize. I misunderstood. But yeah, so see, those are cocktails that are, I saw a story about people illegally selling these cocktails.
Worse than you.
Got to be careful. And here's the barbecue going. All right, so let's just walk right up. Maybe they don't care. Yeah, there's a lot of people walking in the street here. Oh, wow. Look at those lights on the front of the Humvee. I've seen that cop before. All right, so it'll probably get more crowded over here as people are filling up the bars. So let's just do a little people watching as I walk home up 7th Avenue here. Yeah, I have been noticing more Alfa Romeos lately. That's true. I don't know if people saw the other day, I saw the first electric Humvee only hours after the first electric Mercedes. So there's a lot of cool car spotting that goes on. I really like that place, Boucherie. I haven't been into that one, but if you like French food, I bet you that's super expensive now. I haven't been there since before the pandemic. Here's a lobster truck. Yeah, I don't know. If I owned a restaurant around here, I think it's entirely possible that you'd be doing less business on a day like today than a normal day. And then the whole place is going to be a mess. Oh boy, this is going to take a long time. I think I gotta get further west, or I'm never going to get anywhere here. This is closer to what it was like on my way down here. See, we got people just set up here selling crap, causing this jam up. Let's go west. Maybe I can just get up 8th Avenue a little bit more quickly.
Who wants it? Last one.
Uptown 1 to 14, think about that.
So we go that way.
Across the street.
So sorry.
Have you been to North River Lobster Cove before?
Alright, over here. Alright.
So this dude behind me is super sketch.
Shot.
Yeah, all these people selling alcohol on the street, you gotta be out of your mind. Just buy some crazy drink from somebody you don't know.
I put sometimes, I literally got alcohol.
Not recommended.
It's nobody else. Crack it, bro.
Sorry.
Let me see me, come.
You look just like yourself.
I look just like myself.
I almost didn't recognize you.
He works in the Amazon truck.
Still a wreck over here. Be careful, don't get hit by the police. They don't want to do the paperwork.
I got you guys a good thinking.
Okay. It's a big day for ice cream trucks. I didn't really fully understand Charles's plan for dealing with the parade. He wanted to meet east of the parade, which my plan of action for this parade is to just not cross it at all. I suggested that we stayed on the west of it, and I still don't fully understand his reasoning for why he wanted to cross it twice. But it's all right. Worked out. I guess these are people who drove to the Pride Parade. You got to be crazy to do that. So where would they be going to now? I guess the Holland Tunnel. But they're all New York plates, so maybe these are Ubers. I've noticed a lot more people have TLC plates. So I guess now, do you have to do that to be an Uber? Yeah, here's the bomb squad again. Now wait a minute. Let me get back onto a friggin' street I recognize before I keep walking in circles here. Aren't I walking parallel to Bleecker?
5 minutes.
Oh man, I'm just like lost in the West Village here. Ah, C8. Nice. Haven't seen too many of these. Z06? Awesome. So what the hell did I do wrong last time? I guess I made a right. All right, let's go back to the comments and see. Oh, look at this. Sarah Jessica Parker has a store coming soon. People know the story about how I yelled at her?
But that one was a big one.
Stop moving around and tell them where you are.
Trolling we're talking about in the comments. So here's West 11th Street.
Listen. Really?
It would be hot to be working as a cop because you have to wear the hat. Dark outfit. Get them all standing there doing nothing. Right, no extra charge for the roofie and the drink. I mean, that's just it. Who would be crazy enough? You don't even know, even if it's got what they tell you in it, how much booze is there. I mean, that's just nuts. Bank Street. I mean, I'm walking in a circle here somehow. This is what I hate about this. They shut down the streets, go west, I know. Here's 8th Ave. I'm just going to go up 8th Ave. Well, I just did that before. I guess I could go up 9th Ave. There's the cops. So they had a lot of cop cars out. Yeah, so texting even while they're driving. I'm not supposed to do that, cops. All right, here's 8th Ave. I mean, you know, there's really nothing stopping anybody from walking around in, you know, a leather harness and chaps any day. Someone's saying, what the hell was that? Yeah, I don't know. There's a delay on what you guys see from what's happening in real time. So you could basically say that about pretty much anything that's been going on today. All right, now we're on track. We'll just head up 8th Avenue and I'll be back in just a little while here. Should have stayed home. Well, we thought about that, but you know, I mean, there's unique things going on in New York, and I think people want to see that. And to the extent that I can provide it, I'm happy to do it. This was a bit of a challenge today. I mean, just getting. I left the apartment like 90 minutes before the show started and was walking around in the supreme heat through a crazy ass crowd. I absolutely sympathize with Charles for disliking big crowds. sushi. Ways, yeah. No, it's not so much the need to consult Waze, it's just, you know, when you get turned around in the West Village, the streets don't run like a grid and they aren't numbered. People ever tell you look like Mark Twain? The rumors of that guy's death were greatly exaggerated. I like it when I ask somebody if people ever tell them they look like somebody I think they look like, and they say yes, because half the time they say no, nobody's ever told me that. But that dude looked like Mark Twain. Tell us the story, right? So, all right, when I went to NYU, she did deserve to be yelled at. When I went to NYU, I lived in a dorm on 10th Street, and I guess that was kind of near where she lived. This is a doubly interesting story because it then became part of Sex and the City many, many years later. So I walk out of the dorm. It was like 9 or 10 o'clock at night, you know, dark out, late at night. And just this dog comes running down the street, like a beautiful golden retriever, nice dog, but it just come and run and jumped on me. And then this woman comes running up. She's like, oh, I'm sorry, I'm so sorry. I was like, lady, keep your goddamn dog on a leash. And it was Sarah Jessica Parker. And she was like, oh, I'm sorry, I'm so sorry. And then years later, in Sex and the City, there was an episode where basically exactly that happened. $5.79 for gas on credit card here at Mobile, and it's just a big party at the gas station. That's weird. I would think they'd want to be selling gas, but it's just a booze party. This used to be Lukoil, a Russian-owned gas station, but then it became Mobile. Wow, they're having a barbecue at the gas station. Is that smart? Turning on the barbecue grill? Do not tag. Why?
I thought so too.
Well, gas station party is where it's at. It's pretty weird. But basically everywhere is a party. Pizza place. So I guess it's helping local businesses. Maybe the gas station sells beer in the Mobile Mart, I guess. Or maybe they brought in that barbecue and I don't know. This is kind of an observational Sunday without Charles. This is, I thought it's Museum of Illusions. Wow, that might be new. This was a closed bank for a while. That sounds pretty interesting. Museum of Illusions, I like that kind of thing. Yeah. Wow. Pretty hot.
Okay, you're welcome.
So like we got Pride themed crap being sold today. Police vehicles over here with the lights on. Oh yeah, well that was the story. I yelled at her for her dog. Well, so okay. So then many years later, I was in a restaurant that doesn't really exist anymore. It was my favorite restaurant, Geopolitics. They moved it, made it smaller, and then the owner retired, and it's way different. But I was in there, I walk in, and I'm looking around the restaurant, and I say, oh, there's Sarah Jessica Parker over there. I mean, this was like 10 years later. And she looked right at me, almost as if she thought to herself, oh, there's that guy who yelled at me.
Do you laugh your ass off or do you keep it
That's basically the story. So, I mean, that's the thing. I like dogs a lot, but, I mean, I like people as well. But when you're out of control on the streets of New York City, you should not do that. This is Google here. And when that guy has his dog off leash, the guy's a dick. And unfortunately, the dog, by extension, probably is too. Here's another cop texting. That's all they do. Looking down, texting. Dangerous for him, dangerous for us. He could get run over while he's texting.
We're going 14, but then we're gonna go.
Oh, it's such a relief. I mean, these streets, well, I wasn't this far. Actually, I was. I was going downtown on 8th Avenue. It was so packed. I mean, imagine being virtually unable to walk shoulder to shoulder.
No,
right
stop
here.
doing Hennessy.
I think the bulk of it has subsided. Probably as I head closer to 7th Ave, it's going to get crazy again. These cops are doing a great job directing traffic, I tell you. It's actually good pizza, Rocco's. You know, when I was a little kid, the Village people were around, and I don't think I really knew what that was all about. But this is the West Village, and when you look at that band, I think you know. Yeah, we could see it's getting a little bit more crowded. Actually, getting to my apartment could be quite a challenge. Somebody lost their sunglasses. That was the story about yelling at Sarah Jessica Parker.
That's it, bro.
It's still really hot. I would say it's about still 90. I mean, sun is roasting. Got to be difficult to serve these people with the sidewalks being so crowded.
Thank you.
Gotta be texting. Ah, look, there's one of the floats. Yeah, everything's being broken down now. Is it 5 yet? I'm not even sure what time that parade starts and ends. Chase Bank. Yeah, like when I was in college, I don't think you had major corporations sponsoring this. It was like you know, you had to be in the know, I think. But like many things, I mean, I went to college 30 years ago, so seems like not that long ago to me. But this is, yeah, wow, I guess we're on like the float staging street here. Yeah, like, so you couldn't go anywhere near any of this before when the parade was going. They had cops everywhere and really restrictive as far as where you could walk. I hate that. I'm not sure what this place is, but it looks popular. Oh yeah, here's Indeed. We were just talking about their ad on High Dive with Lee Stranahan just yesterday. They've recently been running an ad about, you know, pronouns and all that kind of business. Yeah, you couldn't get anywhere near this before. I mean, I wonder how much it costs the city in overtime to the cops and the sanitation department to do this. I'm not gonna run that gauntlet. Yeah, the cops don't mind because there's no cars on the street here. Well, I guess we miss seeing interesting and crazy people. That's all right, we'll miss it for a block. It smells like a gas leak right here. That's not good. Mercy Market doesn't seem to be enjoying it too much. Let's see if I can squeeze through here. Sometimes you got to find a hole and go in it. All right, there we go. So I'm almost back. Now, this used to be a grass-fed hamburger restaurant. Now it's a pizza place.
Yes. All right. Are we ready for the next contestant? Next contestant. Oh my God. Next person. Giaria.
This is the weed store with the Japanese Doritos.
Can we have Bella come next? No? All right, Bella's ready.
All right, well, that's about it for the Pride Parade 2022 and the Sunday with Charles episode that was contained within it. Thanks for tuning in, everybody. I hope people will become sponsors on subscribestar.com/crowdsourcethetruth or patreon.com/crowdsourcethetruth. We still do have some interesting characters making their way. Uh-oh, what happened to this guy? Vehicle has been towed by the NYPD. Oh boy. Well, that's what happens when you park. That person's gonna think their car was stolen. Getting your car towed in New York City is no fun. I'm surprised they put it there. Normally they take it over to the west side. There's a tow yard where they leave the stuff, and you got to go over there and wait around for a long time and pay a bunch of money. It's enough to make you never want to have it happen again. Yeah, for
and,
some reason 23rd Street is like an epicenter of this thing. But there we go. Hope everybody had a great day. Enjoyed the show and the parade or whatever you might have been doing. Those guys. Trying to think if there's going to be a show tomorrow. Maybe not, but got a lot of stuff I'm working on. If people tune into the Counter Lawfare Report on Patreon and Subscribestar, you'll get some insight into what I'm working on here. It's a big deal. A lot of people know I've been being sued for the past 5 years. I think it's time for some of those people to go to jail. And I've presented the evidence of the alleged criminal activity. So we'll see where that goes. Thanks for tuning in, everybody. Enjoy the rest of Sunday. So they said that that Russian general was obese. What about this cop? How can this guy be a cop? He's got to weigh 300 pounds. They've got some extra beefed up security at the Whole Foods. All right, anyway, thanks for watching, everybody.